Dhammapada by Narada Thera, Pali text and translation, with stories in brief and notes as read aloud. This is part 3. Part 3. Citta Vagga, mind. The flickering, fickle mind, difficult to guard, difficult to control, the wise person straightens it as a fletcher straightens an arrow. Like a fish that is drawn from its watery abode and thrown upon land, even so does this mind flutter. Hence should the realm of the passions be shunned. Story. A monk was overcome by evil thoughts. The Buddha admonished him to subdue his mind. Citta is derived from the root chit, to think. The traditional interpretation of the term is that which we are aware of an object. Actually, it is not that which thinks of an object as the term implies. If it could be said, it thinks, as one says in English, it rains, it would be more in consonance with the Buddha's teaching. From an ultimate standpoint, citta may be defined as the awareness of an object. Since Buddhism denies a subjective agent like a soul, according to Buddhism, no distinction is made between mind and consciousness, terms which are used equivalents for citta. Now, this also has to do with action versus noun. So, we would say, I am a personing, a dog is a dogging, a sitting, we are standing, we are a personing, we are an accounting, we are a doctoring, whatever it is. Control your mind. The mind is hard to check, swift, flits wherever it lists. To control it is good. The controlled mind is conductive to happiness. The story. A devout woman receiving instruction from the monks attained anagami, the third stage of sainthood, with supernormal powers such as reading others' thoughts, even before the monks had gained their deliverance. Understanding the physical needs of the monks, she ministered to them well. Before long they too attained arhatship. An avaricious monk, hearing of her powers, visited the place. She did everything he desired. The monk, fearing that evil thoughts might arise in him, went to the Buddha and reported the matter. The Buddha advised him to subdue his uncontrollable mind. Guard your thoughts. The mind is very hard to perceive, extremely subtle, flits wherever it is listed. Let the wise person guard it. A guarded mind is conducive to happiness. Story. A devout follower entered the order, but soon found the holy life too embarrassing, owing to the large number of obligatory new rules. The Buddha advised him not to worry about them, but to guard his thoughts. So don't worry, do the work. Free are they who have controlled their minds. Faring far, wandering alone, bodiless, lying in a cave, is the mind. Those who subdue it are freed from the bond, Mara. Remember, Mara is temptation. Mara is basically like a devil kind of idea. Story. An uncle and nephew were leading the holy life. One day the nephew received 2 pieces of cloth, and he presented one to his uncle, but he declined the offer. He was displeased and planned to leave the order while fanning his uncle. He thought that he would sell 1 piece of cloth and buy a she-goat and earn some money. Eventually, he would get married and would have a son. Then he would pay a visit to his uncle with his wife and child. On the way, his wife would accidentally kill his child, and he would get angry and beat his wife. Daydreaming thus, he struck his uncle with the fan. The uncle read his thoughts and brought him to his senses. The nephew felt ashamed, dropped the fan, and ran away. The monk seized him and brought him to the Buddha's presence. The Buddha described the fleeting nature of the mind. Because no 2 thought moments arise in a particular time, the imperceptible mind is immaterial and colorless. It is clear that the Buddha had not definitely assigned a specific basis for consciousness, as he had done with other senses. It was the cardiac theory, the theory that the heart is the seat of consciousness, that prevailed in his time, and this was evidently supported in the Upanishads. The Buddha could have adopted this popular theory, but he did not commit himself. In the Patthana, the Book of Relations, the Buddha refers to the basis of consciousness in such indirect terms as yam rupam nisaya, dependent on the material thing, which would be the body. What the material thing was, the Buddha was not positively did not positively assert, according to the views of commentators like Venerables Buddhaghosa and Aruda, the seat of consciousness is the heart. One wonders whether one is justified in presenting the cardiac theory as Buddhistic, when the Buddha himself neither rejected nor accepted the popular theory. Here we have the idea of the difference between the heart and the mind. And even in Western, we often see what the heart knows, right? So that's where we're coming from that. To the vigilant, there is no fear. He whose mind is not steadfast, he who knows not the true doctrine, he whose confidence wavers, the wisdom of such a one will never be perfect. He whose mind is not soaked by lust, he who is not affected by hatred, he who has transcended both good and evil, for such a vigilant one there is no fear. Story. A farmer entered the order thinking to lead an easy life. 6 times he discarded the robe, and each time he re-entered the order. Once seeing his pregnant wife in disarray, he was disgusted of worldly life. On the way to the monastery, he meditated and became a stream winner, a sotapanna, and entreated the unwilling monks to reordain him. He received his ordination and before long attained arhatship. When the monks mentioned to the Buddha that he claimed arhatship, the Buddha explained his state of mind before and after his realization of Dhammapada. The deeds of an arhat, a perfect saint, are neither good nor bad because he has gone both beyond good and evil. He does not mean that he is passive. He is active, but yet his activity is selfless, as is directed to help others to tread the path that he has trod himself. His deeds, ordinarily accepted as good, lack creative power as regards himself in producing karmic effects. He is not, however, exempt from the effects of past actions. He accumulates no fresh karmic activities. Whatever actions he does as an arhat are termed inoperative and are not regarded as karma. They are ethically ineffective. Understanding things that they truly are, he has finally shattered the cosmic chain of cause and effect. This is something to be wary of. People who claim that they've reached that part may use something like this to describe and to justify actions that are, in fact, hurtful to other people. It should not be erroneously understood that arhats do not sleep. Whether asleep nor awake, they are regarded as sleepless or vigilant ones, since the 5 stimulating virtues, namely confidence, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom, are ever present in them. Fortify your mind and be non-attached. Realizing that this body is as fragile as a jar, establishing this mind as firm as a fortified city, he should attack Mara. With the weapon of wisdom, he should guard his conquest and be without attachment. Story. Many monks who were meditating in a forest were troubled by the tree deities. When they sought the advice of the Buddha, they were advised to extend their loving kindness towards them all. They did so with the result that those very deities later proved to be very helpful to them. Comparing the body to a vessel, the monks developed insight. The body read their thoughts, and projecting himself before them, confirmed what they thought. Now, this is one like make your demons your friends, and see them for what they are, pitiful, and beings worthy of compassion, and need help before they're crying out, right? This is the job of the bodhisattva. Before long, alas, this body will lie upon the ground, cast aside, devoid of consciousness, even as a useless charred log. Story. The Buddha ministered to a sick monk, deserted by his co-celibates. He himself washed his stinking body with warm water. Then he sat on his bed and preached to him on the fleeting nature of the body. Story. A wealthy herdsman entertained the Buddha. When the Buddha departed, he accompanied him for some distance and turned back. As he was returning, he was accidentally killed by a stray arrow. The monks remarked that if the Buddha had not visited the place, the man would not have met with that fatal accident. The Buddha replied that under no circumstances would he have escaped his death owing to a past evil karma, and added that the internal ill-directed mind would become very inimical to oneself. That is, the mind directed toward the 10 kinds of evil. It would be killing or stealing, sexual misconducts, lying, slandering, harsh speech, vain talk, covetousness, ill will, and false belief. A well-directed mind is far greater than even a mother or a father. What neither mother nor father nor any other relative can do, a well-directed mind does, and thereby elevates one. Story. Once a wealthy person harbored a lustful thought on seeing an arhat. Subsequently, he controlled his passion and entered the order. Before he attained arhatship, hearing of his transformation and attainment, the Buddha praised him and added that a well-directed mind could bestow great blessings, such as would not be within the power of even a mother or father to confer. That is, the mind directed towards the 10 kinds of meritorious deeds, namely generosity, morality, meditation, reverence, service, transference of merit, rejoicing in others' merit, hearing the doctrine, expounding the doctrine, and straightening one's right views. That was part 3, or chapter 3, the Dhammapada. Listen to it at your leisure. Don't forget to subscribe. And please hit the like button if you liked. And feel free to comment, because I can do other videos on those comments, because I use those for the ideas I get for other ones. This was one from our class, which we followed along with. You can also find some of that information on our website, thecenteredpath.org, where you can download a cheat sheet and some other documentation, which are all completely free. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Good night.